Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the StarCraft 2 World Championship Series. We are here with WCS Challenger for Spring Americas Edition. I'm Nathanius, joined by Zombie Grub. And if you're tired of ZVZ, you don't want it anymore?
No.
Wish granted. The Zergs are gone. It's fascinating, isn't it? That's right. We just solved that problem for you. We've got a nice amount of Protoss players now to bring you through the second half of your day. Because your entire day revolves around StarCraft. Because, well, let's just face it, you're a real patriot and you love the best game on Earth. And I think that goes for all of us without saying, Zombie Grub.
I didn't know we were playing StarCraft Brood War.
Oh! Ooh. Only thing you could have said to derail me. Well, for those of you who are going to go over the format again real quick. So the way that it works, we had a bunch of qualifiers. People qualified. It was great. We've got 2 group stages, as we oftentimes do in WCS Challenger. And it's basically going to be, we got 16 players playing out their groups. They're going to go into a top 8 bracket. And there's going to be some money involved. It's going to be really nice. And WCS points as well. GSL style groups, so we're done with the round robin shenanigans into just a regular old bracket. And you can see we've got someone for every region. It's going to be great.
Yes. Yes, it is going to be great.
Fantastic. And there we go. Pull it up. Ba-boom. There's the money. How good is that? $1,600 for first place, of course. It's Challenger. It's not the full circuit event, but it is going to affect the seeding and the placement when we do get to WCS Spring, which is coming up.
Yeah.
It's creeping up on you.
Yeah, just like 2 weeks after, I think, the Challenger finals. 2.5, something like that.
Yeah. So you've got StarCraft all the way through May now, and I'm sure that there will probably be more stuff. We've been pretty good. We've been pretty good about giving you guys lots of StarCraft this year, okay?
Yeah. You know, the 2 Kiev stops, so spring and summer, really are not that far apart. So means you got to fit Challenger.
Yeah.
Small amount of time.
Winter. We had a very long winter this year.
We did, yes.
Not many survived, but we do have, of course, the schedule, a bunch of matches for you to watch. We're going to kick things off with puCK versus Raze. So some good old USA PvP. And then following that, we've got the American Disc going up against the now Canadian TLO. So instead of 1 Protoss versus 3 Zergs, we've got 1 Zerg versus 3 Protosses here in the Americas. So I'm looking forward to shenanigans because, well, let's face it, these USA players are, they're going to be doing some different things than we might typically expect.
It's not just that they're America's players.
Well, puCK's a bit of a memer.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, he does crazy builds.
Yeah, Raze is the, I misspoke earlier, so there was a Terran in this group. No, but there's an ex-Terran. Raze used to play Terran. Decided that Protoss, he's actually that, like, meme on Reddit, right? Where it's like, if Protoss is so easy, just go play it. Stupid Terran players.
Yeah,
and he
well,
did it.
he's doing much better than he was as
pretty
a Terran.
well.
Reminds me of Neeb. So we'll see him when in Kespa Cup next year. But, yeah, so that PvP is going to start things off for us. It should be good. I just realized that we are all probably still on
we're on the
Europe on ours. But puCK is a player who really likes to do different stuff. I think puCK got to Grandmaster on an account worker rushing. He perfected it.
Really?
He found a way. Yeah.
That does sound a little familiar.
Yeah. puCK pulled it off.
That's more impressive. And I thought the gasless Zerg Grandmaster was impressive.
Yeah.
That's what Xanster did I want to say.
Yeah, that was Xanster.
These guys got to find new ways to challenge themselves, you know. StarCraft to the pro level is getting way too easy.
It's hard. It's hard. Especially when you're trying to, just torture people, do some great strategies that really break down someone's willpower, humanity.
You know, maybe if you're like silver or gold and you're like, you know what, I just admit it. I'm just not going to, you know what, there's no way I'm going to win. But you're like Masters 1, you're like, man, I'm actually like kind of okay at this game. And then 50 queens show up and you're like, oh, okay then.
With slow lings.
Let's cry.
The spines start to root up in your base. It's like, oh God, it's happening. We are loading into our first series of the day on the Americas side of our show. Hope you're all having a great time tuning in wherever you are in this big, beautiful planet that we call Earth. In the top left of Kairos Junction, the red Protoss player. He is puCK.
In the bottom right, As the blue Protoss player for Psystorm, it is Raze.
Now, I could talk about puCK all day. He is a great guy. He's been playing StarCraft 2 forever. My story about him always comes back to I was very new to StarCraft myself. I was a very small streamer. I had like 5 viewers. And puCK showed up in my chat and was like, let's play some games. And he Colossus dropped me for...
Oh, super cool, super cool.
Yeah, for like hours. It was painful. And it was at that point I learned the man's a bit of a sadist, but he eventually ended up, he was actually one of my first friends when I started coming out to events.
Yeah.
He was the guy that introduced me to a lot of pros that at that time I was just a fanboy of. And he's just a really cool guy. So, I mean, he's been around forever. He's had his ups and downs in WCS. I think he peaked in the biggest peak I saw him was he was probably one of the, if not the best American PvZ players in WCS back when we had Hyun and Revival. He was one of the only players that could take maps off of them, let alone beat them. I mean, he did actually beat Hyun a few times in some big matches, but classically struggled against some of the stronger Terran players, running into guys like Polt, was always where puCK would get completely shut down. And he's just kind of, it's been a little bit of a back and forth for him because he's not crazy consistent. Raze, on the other hand, you talked about it, used to play Terran, but not quite the prolific history that a player like puCK might have, the prize earnings. So this is kind of his moment, really, trying to use Challenger, use these additional tournaments that we've been doing, and try to bolster himself up, get some recognition, and get that practice to pay off.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit of the old versus young, I guess, story here.
Yeah.
The puCK isn't really that old, but Raze is, as far as making a mark on the scene, is just not. It's not been very long that we've been able to recognize this guy, but he's consistently getting better. Consistently showing up to the qualifiers and making it through. He did make it in the winners bracket through a decent amount of PvPs. In fact, one of them was against Disc, another player in this group, and up against a player named Rob, who actually didn't make it to Cheesedelphia this weekend, which kind of sucks. Bunch of airport plane troubles and stuff. But anyways, after he was showing a lot of great PvP. So I'm actually kind of in favor of Raze right now. But the thing is puCK is a weirder player. And even if he's not playing weird, he's still like a damn decent typical PvP player. But yeah, I don't know, I feel like this is actually a nice group for Raze to show what he's made of. TLO comes in from Europe, right? Kind of never, I don't think he outright said it. Ooh, a little bit of scuffle here, hold on. Okay, just gonna run away from that. Never outright said that, like, you know, oh, yeah, NA's gonna be easy, America's gonna be easy. But yeah, there's always that feeling, and then he gets dumpstered, basically.
Yeah.
He does not do well, and he's a little surprised, but yeah, Raze could very well make it out of this group alongside puCK. TLO might be, again, the kind of like the weird like upset that he doesn't get out. Like, oh, hold on here.
Yeah. Well, it's so interesting because when you follow, right, like players, I mean, you think a lot of people are products of their environment, and once you spend enough time in NA, you know, the void gazes back unto you, right? So it's one of those things. The hallucinated stalkers from Raze really putting the pressure onto puCK and saying, hey, man, you need to back it on up because I've got a huge attack here. And of course, we know that that is not the case. Raze actually has an expansion back home. Meanwhile, puCK getting up his robotic space, going straight for a disruptor.
Yes.
And, I mean, so having his economy slowed down, a disruptor can definitely make up for that since we don't have, like, a Stargate or anything out for Raze. But he needs to get something done, and it needs to be big because there's 2 adepts watching that base. So he knows that puCK is locked in on just a single expansion at the moment.
Yeah, good cancel on that shield battery. Realize, okay, all right.
Ooh la la.
So you said it, and it's absolutely true. Disruptors are like the greatest way to make a comeback. Actually, I mean, arguably in any matchup, just their explosive nature, they one-shot those things. But yeah, definitely in PvP, we see a lot of that. And you could eventually break out, take a natural, and just continue taking good trades. All the adepts will let through. But puCK doesn't go that easy path, right? He doesn't eventually break out. He goes for a hidden expansion, which might just stay hidden. Raze is setting up a pylon, looks like, but also microing these adepts pretty well. Shift-clicked on those probes, so 7 will be going down. That is maybe even 8. Go for the 8s. Gets the 8s. That's a decent amount of damage, plus already canceling that natural nexus and seeing the robotics bay tech, right?
Whoa!
Like, everything went well.
What?
What?
Okay, so he got a disruptor shot on 2 stalkers. He
Ooh.
just killed. He killed 2 stalkers, I think, with that disruptor.
Yeah.
He's taking another ninja base.
That's weird. I can understand the one, but he's just gonna keep showing Raze like
Okay,
I have
guys,
no economy.
this Fun Day Monday is North and South Pole.
Excuse
Expand
me, sir.
to 2
Icy car.
opposite corners of the map.
Keep up on the times, Nate. Day 9's gone.
Is there another name for
Icy
it?
far. That's what PvP does.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't really. I tried to watch it once, but it's really hard to look at stuff that's upside down on my screen.
So you love that mutation, huh?
Yeah. Oh, that was the worst.
No, I love that
That
one.
was the first time StarCraft made me physically sick.
Anyways, like, yeah, this is really weird. Like, Fun Day Monday, whatever you want to call it. This is
I don't have
something-
any words for this. We talk.
Yes.
This is America's.
It's just, it's the thing is, it's not just 2 hidden expansions. It's a 3rd nexus this quickly in PvP. So
Yeah.
But the thing is that Raze would understandably just stay maybe, defensive. Actually, this is going already pretty poor.
Yeah, you just lift the disruptor. No, puck is. I mean, if Raze just attacks him, right?
Wait,
like
what?
He's got to be super dead.
puCK is going into his own Stargate. He's making his
Yeah,
first
he's
Phoenix.
going double Stargate.
Whoa. Okay. No. You know
No.
what? Raze is gonna kill him. So Raze is not. It's not that he's falling for anything. It's that he's playing a normal
Say,
PvP.
If we're stealing day 9-isms, then your opponent is doing something very weird. Just go kill him. There's not really. There's nothing here for puck.
But is Raze gonna be tricked by this? Because it's so.
Well, if he thinks his opponent's on one base, he respects puck, right? So
Right.
he's like, well, I guess he's probably got something weird cooking up here.
like a carrier to pop out or something. But if he does just go up, well, I
If
guess
you
going
just
up a ramp is
attack,
difficult.
it's over.
No, there's only
Like,
one sentry. Kill it and then get up the ramp.
Yeah, even if there
With
were
the
more
disruptor.
sentries, just suicide for the sentry kill. Your army will win the fight.
Gosh, puCK didn't. I mean,
Or
puCK
bring in
must have
another
been
sentry.
hoping that Raze would be too scared, too inexperienced, maybe even nervous about the first match. But that was absolutely not
Yeah.
the case. puCK has to tap out. Raze takes the first game in normal PvP passion.
Yeah, he just
Fashion.
kind of played PvP and
Yeah.
won. Puck. The one ninja expansion I can kind of see. I'm like,
Right.
okay, well, you're in a weird spot. But the second ninja, I was like,
That's 400 minerals plus whatever probes he made from it. He actually wasn't that high up in probes, but still. And
he didn't really have probes on the bottom left base.
No, not really.
So I was just.
but some. It's still a lot of minerals to put down when you're still in a very
The disruptor also didn't
tight
get
knit.
probes.
No, it didn't. It was very easily handled.
Yeah.
Very professional response there from Raze. Just immediately went to the Stargate once he realized what his opponent was doing. And it probably wouldn't have taken even, the scout to say, like, oh, that's probably what you're doing.
No.
Because when you're stuck on that one base and you're in that difficult spot, a lot of players, I would say, do add the robotics bay. So he just knew exactly what to do. puCK's playstyle, he's not... Who can I compare him to? He is a weird player, but it's not like he's so weird that as soon as someone brings something normal to him, he just collapses, right? Like he still finds MMR off of normal games. He's still a really good player. So I don't expect Raze just to be like, no, I have the secret. I have the secret to defeating puCK. But that game makes me think that maybe he does. That was he made that game look easy.
Yeah.
For sure.
No, he did. I'm
worried.
I don't know. I guess puCK was trying to style on him or do something funny or fun.
I guess. If this was a best of 5, group, then it's go
Yeah,
ahead.
but it's a best of 3, so
The second hidden expansion was just, and to be clear, that second hidden expansion probably isn't even what killed him. It is a lot of money. It does disrupt the additional 2 extra gateways, right? 2.5, but even that just was another thing to be like, no, that doesn't
well,
work.
instead of taking a second ninja, put that money into maybe a chrono on the ninja the first one that you have, and just get money from it, and then you can actually build units so that you can't just A-move you like he did.
Yeah.
We'll see. We're loaded into our next map. It is Automaton on the right side. The red Protoss player trailing 0-1 in this best of 3. He is puCK. And I think that build he did, what happened in the last game, perfectly describes what TLO said to me, or I believe in some interview about how playing on NA is like, well, I try to be creative, but I cannot match the individuals on this ladder.
That's what he said after his WCS loss, yeah. In the bottom left, up 1, it is the blue Protoss Raze. Well, I don't know. You know, as I said, I feel a little worried for puCK after that showing, but I think he'll rein it in a little, take it a little more normal here. But it does at least confirm my call, my guess that Raze would do well against puCK, would do well in a mostly PvP series. I am guessing that TLO will win against Disc just because of the experience that's there. I don't think Disc is that weird of a player. Well, actually,
Disc is a weird player,
no, actually
though.
He is, yeah. He does like some odd Colossus builds and stuff there. So
we know he likes Void Rays too. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, never mind. That actually could be kind of weird for him. Too weird, as he said. And he tries to be creative, but he's NA, guys, because we are in an all NA group, not the general Americas. Well, it's, I mean, this group, I mean, it has TLO in it, but he is adopted by Canada. Officially, the Canadian fans signed his adoption papers, and it worked out.
Yep. No,
So,
he's,
all Americas. All
he
North
is.
America.
He's full America now.
Yeah.
He's, they gave him the standard IV of pure organic maple syrup into his blood. He's good. He's converted.
Yes, absolutely. So that maybe is an odd one. I would have expected TLO to be in the winners, though, is where I was going. Which
Yeah. Well, we still have high hopes. We have high expectations.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, TLO also didn't just move to Canada for the lulz, right? Like, you know,
he did not.
he's got a wonderful life now.
Mm-hmm.
He just got married and all that, so he's.
It's,
You know, it's like sometimes it takes a little time out of your practice.
yes, it's a busy
you know,
life.
I feel like I'd have a hard time getting my games in if I was getting married, to be perfectly honest. But
Yeah. To be clear, like, it was only a few weeks ago, I want to say.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll see how that's, it's the next series.
You're not bringing a laptop to practice for WCS on your honeymoon. What are you doing with your life, right?
I think he literally did, though, to be.
Well, there you have it.
So PvP, so even when it's a normal PvP, it does get to be a little weird, right? So we have both of them setting down proxy pylons, which is not weird in and of itself, but it will cause some aggression. puCK seems to be, I don't know, these positions are kind of weird. puCK seems to be more like for like a couple of adept warp-ins later, right? Just kind of like throw it down there. Scare maybe, because there's not a third pylon of the natural. But Raze put his in it feels like a more aggressive position, but he is going for a Nexus, so I guess his is also for just like, you know what, in case I want to warp into adepts and do something.
Yeah, puCK, a little indecisive about where he wants that pylon. And his Oracle is about to pop out, fly across the map. Let's see what it can do. Is he going to get the Nexus? There it is. Okay, so he boots that up. A lot of Stalkers up here again, except this time Zombie Grib, they're not hallucinations.
No, that was a really cool move, too.
That was
to
very
emphasize.
cute to force him to cancel the natural like that.
Yeah, well, even if he didn't have those 2 extra Stalkers, like, it was a pretty tough battle for puCK. That just made it very clear to him he should, and it was a lie. It was halluc. These warp-ins, more Stalkers. He is looking to pressure the natural here. Raze does not have a shield battery, so he's going to have trouble. He also, I mean, how many units are in the main base? Two Stalkers and a shield battery, so he is fine against the Oracle play, and he has already beaten back this play. Ooh.
Debated.
The Stalker and Sentries are now weak, but here comes, the Hero War Prism.
Nice, very solid, very solidly done. With 2 Oracles, you could just try to fight these Stalkers here, or you could just send them straight into the base, go for the focus fire. He has the Stalkers already prepared to fight immediately, and there you go. These guys working in tandem can punch through, kill the probes before the shield battery even activates, and puCK getting some good damage done. But that War Prism, yeah, ouchie, wawa. Amazing control here from Raze. Well done.
Wow, very, very clean, but still ultimately takes the damage here, right? It looks like maybe even at one point he stopped producing or stopped chronoing probes, as he is significantly down.
Yeah. And for anybody confused, that these little flying glowy dudes, those are the Oracles. The players in game do not see the skins with the stuff that we have, but those are the Purifier Oracles. And the rest of his unit skins are all the Tal'Darim forged ones.
It looks like Raze is not going to go up the ramp, and that makes sense, not just because there could be a stasis trap, but also it's a ramp, it's a choke. So A safer calls to go around. It looks like it won't impact this battle. Raze is slightly up in army supply, but remember he has a couple of stalkers here. That won't be in the front lines. And oh my god. Wow, puCK had no scouting over there. He has no idea this is happening.
This is going to be awkward. I was saying, puCK has brutalized him so far in this game, but this is where he tries to make that big strike back, and Raze is going for it. The Hail Mary play down half his opponent's workers. Goes for a couple force shields. He's got the Guardian shield already popped. Twilight Council's not researching, but he can at least destroy some of the tech.
It feels like kind of Raze missed an opportunity to force fill the ramp, and this is going to be a lot of power on Raze's army. We got Oracle shooting here, we got an Immortal that's free firing, and while his War Prism micro has been cool, it isn't enough to deal with everything. It's certainly enough to kill most of those probes. 18 probes go down at the cost of most of his army, though.
Yeah, the probes bring it even. So now is puCK going to attack immediately? That's the big question now, because if he goes over there, the Immortal's nice. The Oracles will have a bit of energy again to possibly try and fight, but this War Prism, it's not going away just yet either.
Oh, that's, you know, with the pickup range, it should be something that can last for a very long time. We obviously don't have Blink. I doubt we would have, even if Twilight Council had survived. You know, it's always possible. And that does one-shot probe, so you have to take it a little bit seriously. With 4 Stalkers, it is not the War Prism itself.
Yes.
Oracle.
Ooh, goodbye, Oracle.
He's going to try, just 2 Adepts, maybe attack 2
That's smart.
times at once. Hey, this is cool, but is it really impactful?
Oh, wow.
Wait.
Okay, so he stasis trapped him inside of his base so that he could go get the probes. puCK,
Yeah.
you 3,000 IQ.
Dang. I was looking at the Adepts that were shading past as well, but the Oracles did have a lot of energy left over, so that works on multiple levels.
That was disgusting.
He's not paying attention to his War Prism.
That play should be illegal.
puCK is target firing it, and he's not paying attention. He's still not paying attention. That's too late to pay attention.
Oof.
That's probably game. Yes, it is.
Yep.
GG. That was a more typical PvP.
So that looked a little bit more like puCK there. Did a very solid job. Man, ooh, those stasis traps. Two of them. 2 of them. That last one for the 8 probes, I feel like I say this constantly, and it's one of my favorite things about StarCraft is I have not seen anyone do that before. That's the first time I've seen someone put a stasis trap inside the main and be like, kill my Oracle, come get it, come get it. Stasis traps the 3 Stalkers. He's like, all right, now it's going to go kill your whole worker line.
Yeah, it was really cool, especially because maybe most of the time Protoss don't chase the Oracles. If they're gone most of the time. But I mean, it worked in so many ways. The Adepts would have gotten and done damage, the Oracles would have done damage, or it would have distracted away from the War Prism, which it did. Like, the War Prism was not being microed.
Yeah, exactly, because he loses the Prism on the back end of this, and then it's a huge amount of workers that die, and he'd already lost so much. Like right here at the end, it's 17 probes to 31. And that's just like, what are you going to do, man? Your Prism's dead too.
Yeah. Yeah, the Prism was still kind of a long shot, but...
Yeah, the reaction time here, not there for Raze, and that's brutal.
I wonder what he was even paying attention. I guess he was still trying to chase the Oracles, that's why I wasn't paying attention, but yep. As what Pig says, attention is a resource.
It is.
Yes, it is.
Indeed.
And that was something that was missing from Raze. But otherwise, I still am impressed with Raze's War Prism usage. Now I know that sounds, like, when you have that big of a range pickup, like, is it beautiful?
The big push into his main was very well done.
But it was cool. It was very good.
I mean, if he tries to attack the front, we saw puCK had like 3 stasis traps spread out, and if you want to bait them, that's fine, but that's going to take some time. It's going to steal one of your units if you don't perfectly time like a pickup with it, which is really hard to do. But for the final map, we're going to King's Cove. We are loading in to this. You guys are watching the StarCraft 2 World Championship Series. We're Challenger for WCS Spring. And, yeah, it's been good times. It's been good times. It's been lots of StarCraft to tune into. We've got WCS booting up every weekend now for the next couple weeks. And then, well, there's also been the GSL Super Tournament. So hopefully you guys are enjoying your fill. And we are here. We're loaded in the top left. We have a red Protoss player. He is puCK.
In the bottom right, as the blue Protoss, he is Raze. And not that I'm telling you guys to, exit the stream or anything, but if you got a second monitor, there are like 4 other StarCraft tournaments you can watch that are either literally live now or were live like 6 hours ago. Super Tournament's happening this weekend. Philadelphia is happening this weekend.
Yeah.
Thermi Cup is happening right now. I think there's a stream. And even the Banch tournament. So there's a lot of StarCraft.
Lots of StarCraft. It never ends.
It really doesn't. You know, when you compare... Maybe when you compare StarCraft to, like, I don't know, like CSGO, right? There's so many more offline huge prize pools for CSGO. But seriously, there's just never not any StarCraft on.
Yep.
So it's actually insane that even tournament organizers are struggling to find space to even put more tournaments because they want to. It's such a good game. It's so darn good.
It's beautiful. And we can't do it without all of you in the chat. Bible Thump, we love you.
We do have is that the second pylon? It's going to be real, too. So there's been, it feels like a recent trend of just like putting a second pylon somewhere else and being like, am I doing something? But this is real. The probes is staying down there. And because it's not really proxied so much as it is hidden, I'm going to guess like, well, actually, you know what? That'd still be a direct shot to the main.
Yeah.
So maybe it's still going to be a Stargate.
Yeah, it feels like a Stargate. I mean, it's puck, so if it was like proxy DT, I wouldn't be surprised, but I would guess Stargate.
That's what I'm going to guess, too. He does go for double stalkers, which is expensive. Maybe you could open up the depths and get there a little bit sooner on that hidden tech, whatever it's going to be, but... Raze is going to scout the stalkers, too, or he'd like to. See exactly what pops out of there. It is going to be a Twilight Council, so 50 less gas for the stalkers, keep up appearances, perhaps. Although the second pylon was something that Raze sees is not there. That timing on that third one is a little off.
Yep, so Raze has a Stargate booting up inside of his base now. And we shall see. Yeah, Stalker's looking. He's looking for it. It's like, what you hiding? What you hiding outside my base?
I mean, there's 3 reasons to proxy pylon, really, right? There's the aggressive, like, I'm going to warp in stalkers, although it is slow, it's still something. There's the Stargate. And then there's the hidden tech, which is what puCK is going for. With the Twilight Council, you would expect a Dark Shrine, but I have seen a couple pros just hide Blink in this matchup. And that's added.
Yep, there it is.
There you go. But it's going to be scouted. Raze is on top of things.
Wow.
It's still a little troublesome to get over there and actually stop it, though, right? Early game PvP, you are in still a roughly equal number of units, and not a lot of units either, so you can't just, like, send a Ling over there or something.
Right, right.
So it's still complicated.
Yep, and he'll be able to warp in there too. So we have a Void Ray being built for Raze over in his base. Void Rays, the damage versus units like Stalkers, very real. But,
it's vulnerable.
Yeah, it's an interesting call.
It can be microed against is the thing. So a Void Ray not being targeted is amazing. A Void Ray being targeted, especially as it overcharges and loses its mobility, is... actually sometimes not that scary once you get up to like 8 or 9 stalkers.
Yeah, killing the Void Ray is not hard. Void Rays they have a decent health pool, but they actually don't have any armor by default. So they take the full damage of all attacks, and it makes them a little more flimsy than they otherwise appear.
And the funny thing here is that puCK could go into a macro game with a Blink opener, which I feel like is just not a common opener anymore at all, but it's still something that does exist. I'm certain that puCK plays around with it quite a bit, and he's already forced Raze to not use his Stargate aggressively, so he doesn't have to worry about Oracle or double Oracle. And the Void Ray can't really be used aggressively. Not really. I guess it technically could. And it's expensive too. It's very expensive. So you have messed up your opponent's build a little bit, while you get a tech that's not necessarily all in. You could maybe go for more tech, behind it, and just figure that he'll never go over there and kill your Twilight Council, which is bold, but could happen.
It could happen. As the Hallucinating Phoenix comes in, sees some Stalkers. Nothing unusual at all here. puCK has just spread himself well between his 2 bases. Plenty of forces out, and we have an Immortal on the way for Raze. So this was going to happen eventually, though. puCK, I would say one of his biggest strengths, having watched his games over many years, his Blink micro is good. He's got great control, and if he is feeling himself today, if he has got it on lock, then this could be a very interesting engagement that we're about to see. He has left some units at home. He's respecting Raze's potential to backstab in some way or another.
And double Oracles could have been cranked out. or War Prism could have been made immediately, but it is on the Immortals, so very anti-Stalker, as that makes sense. Also very defensive, not too mobile. So the units, the Blink Stalker is going to abuse this.
That Void Ray taking some pain immediately, blinks down, starts up the rest of his things back home, and he is going to poke with just those 4 in the front. He's just chilling. He sends a probe over towards the 3rd location as well.
Very awkward supply block. That was an extended supply block when he has minerals. He goes for a 3rd, which, I don't know, maybe he meant to warp in 4 more Stalkers, maybe he didn't. Have to ask him, but that was a mistake. He is going for a 3rd, however, into Charge, Robo, and Templar Archive, so he is moving this into a, just a control the game and then macro to a typical composition behind it.
Good save there. Good blinks so far. Gotta be careful on Void Rays. Void Rays superpower, of course, they do great damage versus armored, but they also, their range increases once they start to attack, so it can be a little bit difficult to just dodge them by running normally.
Void Rays really have one of the more interesting attacks, I guess. They just, I mean, I'm glad they weren't what they are in like Wings of Liberty. But
yeah, well, those things with like flux veins, and they had, I think, 7 range by default. It was disgusting.
Yeah. So I mentioned that a Void Rays aggressively can be difficult to pull off, right? But now that the army's a little bit bigger, he can protect the Void Rays, and he's keeping them, in mind. He's microing them, not letting them get too far ahead or something like that.
If you allow them to attack for even just a few seconds against like Stalkers with their charge, they melt.
They do. They will be an important addition to this attack, along with the Immortals and the War Prism.
And he's got him in the back, and I think, yeah, this is a dead 3rd base. It looks like from him, he's got an Archon that can, with the 2 Archons, he can smash through the force fields, but still some concern over the Immortals, I think, is a big part of this. But he's kind of baited the army towards the natural, where he's got a shield battery, and he's getting more reinforcements warped in. So ideally, you'd love to take this fight now rather than let him kill the 3rd base first, and that's what's going to happen. Blinks down, gets one of the Void Rays. There's still 2 Immortals. He's got to focus those. Gets one of them, okay. Second one is getting very low. Those Zealots running up now, doing a great job of soaking and tanking, and puCK seems to have done it.
Yes, he has.
GG. Very well done. puCK buys himself just a little bit of time there, saves the 3rd. I guess the 3rd didn't really matter at the end of the day, but wow, just the time he spent attacking the 3rd, I guess, was the problem then, because maybe if he had gotten there a little bit faster, he got 2 more Archons during that fight.
Yes, and the shield battery at the natural, that was always going to be helpful.
Charge finishing was very big as well.
That too, yeah. But even without that, it was actually a situation that I thought was winnable for puCK. Even when his 3rd is being attacked, he wasn't that far down in supply. And Blink Stalkers, they sound so vulnerable, right, to 2 Immortals, 2 Void Rays. Those are literally anti-Stalker units. When you have a decent number, their focus fire is strong. They basically one-shot that one Void Ray, as you saw, and kind of made it look stupid. This Void Ray doesn't even get a Stalker, as you can see. It's on overcharge. It actually was a decent army, despite being one of the more basic armies, until those Archons came along. And then the Archon timing was also very, very helpful.
There weren't any Zealots there for Raze either, so having just a couple charge lots to throw in there, they soak so much damage. Very well done by puCK, and he is going to take the first match today here in our WCS group for America's region. And so he goes up to the winner's match, and that means that Raze will fall to play the loser of our next series, which is going to be Disc versus TLO, a Protoss versus Zerg coming at you after the break. You're watching the StarCraft 2 World Championship Series.